With the market continuing to sell off, I am still hyper focused on utility-based projects like XDC. Regardless of where our price action leads us, in the past, we know that the market has been extremely bearish, especially in bear markets. Now, are we in a bear market right now? I don't believe so. I feel like we are seeing a significant correction in the market, and this is also being exaggerated by liquidations on top of growing tensions around the tariff discussions and even possible talks of war. Now, I do feel like a lot of this is noise at this moment. However, we still need to focus on it. And yes, it still will have lasting effects on the market until things are cleared up. Now, during this time, and I've said this many times over the past couple, days, especially when it comes back to projects like HBAR or even XLM, the main thing that we need to focus on here is fundamentals still. I understand that fundamentals don't pay the bills, right? I understand that fundamentals are not going to lead to us getting extremely rich in the short term. However, it will lead to us getting extremely rich in the mid to long term time frame in the space. Now, also, fundamentals build price action behind bearish price action. It's all pressure. If we go back in time, let's go back on the 1 year. Okay, let's talk about XDC going from sub 3 cents all the way up to almost 16 cents. Why did XDC pump? Well, it was because of all of the announcements around XDC during that time, and of course, yes, the market opening up. However, there was only a select amount of altcoins that were really going crazy. XRP, HBAR, XLM, XDC. Guess what all of these projects have in common? They are not only utility-based projects, but they are projects that rely on increased momentum around regulatory discussions and also the markets opening up around crypto to embrace the technology. That's what ended up happening after Donald Trump got elected president. We witnessed the entire market open up and we started to see an easing on crypto hostility in the US. So when it comes to XDC, during that time, yeah, it was great. We did not see an alt season yet, number one. Number two, the biggest thing to focus on here is the entire crypto landscape is changing to accommodate for projects like XDC. So when we are starting to see sell pressure the way that we are right now, and listen, this could get a little bit worse before it gets better. We can dip down to 4.5 cents. This would be retesting macro support zones. The thing that I want you all to understand here is that everyone was asking me why XDC was going crazy back here. Well, the answer is XDC during the bear market leading up to the fall time frame of 2024, we were witnessing major moves happening, massive fundamental updates, as well as expansions and partnerships, and that was all pressure building into price action. The same can be said now. Ever since that high back here in January, which was 273 days ago, we have been witnessing non-stop momentum around a lot of these great ecosystems, including, of course, XDC. Now, on top of that, let's dive on in to a few things. DeFi. We have over here from XDC Network, PrimeFi has expanded to XDC Network, bringing its omni-chain lending protocol to the XDC ecosystem. DeFi is becoming a reality on a lot of these great networks. XDC, for the longest time, has always been spotlighted as a very efficient, scalable network for payments and payment use cases. DeFi on these networks will scale rapidly, in my opinion. The reason why I say that is because, again, these networks are extremely efficient for financial use cases. Financial use cases that enable DeFi at scale. Lending and borrowing in the DeFi space is the largest category by TVL. And now we are bringing a lending protocol to the XDC ecosystem that is also omnichain. We have here from PrimeFi, the first omnichain lending and borrowing protocol. PrimeFi has officially expanded to XDC network, opening the door for all XDC users to experience an all-in-one it's a one-of-a-kind money market. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned as things are about to level up with PRFi and XDC. Now, when we are thinking about this, this builds on top of the partnership that they already had with Prime Numbers Labs. For those that don't know, back in the beginning of the year, on January 20th, we saw Prime Numbers Labs launch liquid staking on XDC, making masternode rewards accessible to all. Now, this quickly grew to, I think, like over 6 million TVL back in the summer. It's still active, and yes, this is just building on top of this announcement because now we are bringing a complete lending and borrowing protocol to XDC. I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about this because we are also witnessing even bigger moves happening around DeFi as well. Like, for example, USDC joining forces with XDC Network, reimagining DeFi liquidity. We talked about this back in September. This is a huge one with, of course, CCTP v2. I'm very excited about this integration. We already know that USDC is one of the largest stablecoins on XDC. So this is going to enable a lot more DeFi moves to be made as well. And then, of course, on October 15th, we just witnessed One Delta DAO partner up with XDC. We have One Delta is now live on XDC network. You can now trade and move assets across XDC easily with zero fees and best prices. What this means for you: better swap rates from combined liquidity, fast and low-cost transactions, and simple bridging in and out of XDC. Start trading now. The link is in the next post. Now again, One Delta is bringing CeFi-like trading for DeFi users. So this is also enabling DeFi on XDC to have better swaps, better rates, all of the great things that we want around DeFi. So this is just supporting the DeFi ecosystem on XDC even more. And then, of course, talking more so about some things that are happening around XDC beyond DeFi, events. We know that 2025 has been filled with a ton of huge events around all of these ecosystems, and XDC is not shy to this. Recently, at a gong ceremony at Euronext Amsterdam, XDC Network ETP officially launched. A proud milestone for XDC Network. Co-founder joined 21 shares to open the trading day with a gong ceremony at Euronext Amsterdam to mark the launch of the XDC Network ETP, ticker XDCN. And hey, this is very exciting. We're starting to see ETPs around the altcoin side of the market really become a reality, and they're starting to go live. Now, most of these are outside of the US. We're still waiting on the SEC to officially make a decision on a lot of the ETPs and ETFs that are out there for altcoins, and we've been waiting patiently for that. But this is a very good start, and this is also showing us that there is increased demand around XDC outside of the US. So I'm very excited about this. I think that this is great. I also think that this is, just a little bit more market expansion for XDC as well, which can definitely build up some volume for XDC. Now, on top of that, we also witnessed another event that just got announced, and this is going to be in 4 days on the 21st. XDC Network presents T3 Tokenization Trade and Treasury. New York City on October 21st, industry pioneers and financial leaders will gather for T3 Tokenization, Trade, and Treasury, a full-day event exploring the evolution of digital assets and institutional finance. Now, this is what the event images look like real quick. Now, I personally am very excited about this event simply because of the discussions that will be had there. And on top of that, right, tokenization, trade, all of this stuff, it's all extremely common to be included in the same discussion because it is all pieces of the future system around not just trade finance, but almost everything finance. Now, if we're looking into this event, we know what's going to be talked about at this event. Number one, tokenized projects and ETFs, decentralized applications and cross-chain interoperability, modern treasury management and trade finance workflows, strategic liquidity planning in a digital asset landscape, and then cross-border payments. The two main things that I'm really looking at when it comes to this is number one, decentralized applications and cross-chain interoperability. I'm very excited about that. Then number two is the trade finance side. Because again, we've been talking about trade finance for what seems like forever. But again, when it comes to trade finance, we know XDC is at the forefront of trade finance, digitalization, and tokenization. Things are starting to move very fast around this space. I know it might seem like it's not because, again, price action is very boring. The market's having a sell-off. Oh, I thought that utility-based projects were going to go crazy in price action and skyrocket to new highs. They will. I understand that patience is something that is so annoying to hear. Like, oh, hey, you got to be more patient here. I understand that it's annoying hearing that. However, patience will pay in this space. The main thing that we are focused on here is how these markets are evolving, how this space itself is changing. This is all to accommodate these types of projects, because look at these discussions that are being, had now, right? Like if you think about some of the discussions that have happened over just the last couple weeks, right? You have BlackRock talking about tokenization. You have Swift, working with major banks and crypto projects. I mean, we have witnessed some of the largest announcements in just the last couple weeks, but you wouldn't know about it because, again, most people are just focused on one thing, which is price action, and I get it. However, we are witnessing one of the biggest changes in history in front of us around our entire financial system. And trade finance is definitely a big piece of this. We know recently that the International Chamber of Commerce put out a post, and this was regarding CBOS 2025. Okay, at CBOS 2025, Team ICC is at the forefront of banking innovation and trade finance transformation. This is what we brought to the table. They worked with Microsoft, HSBC, ANZ, and Lloyd's. This is all based around AI-powered connectors built on KTDDE, slashing manual work, boosting accuracy, and paving the way for true interoperability in trade finance. On a high-level panel with the UN, the EU, and global banks, this is from their Deputy Secretary General and Policy, Andrew Wilson. He reminded leaders that inaction is the most expensive option. Catalytic public finance, public-private risk sharing, and innovation must reshape how we measure ROI for climate action. Then, of course, we witnessed how the ICC principles for sustainable trade finance set simple, high-level thresholds to create a common framework for sustainability assessments, already used by banks and development institutions and open for wider endorsement. And when we think about the ICC, right, we're starting to see these high-level discussions with major banks, major enterprise names, organizations, etc. When it comes to the ICC, they are the biggest name around trade finance. They represent 45 million companies in 170 countries. And on top of that, we know that the ICC, the World Trade Organization, and Citi, as well as Trade Finance Global, recognized XDC's potential in trade finance. This is at a time, and here we have the announcement, by the way, from 2023. This is at a time where tokenization is heating up. Why is that important? Well, because a lot of the trade finance instruments that are utilized on a day-to-day basis will all be tokenized. XDC was one of the first official networks to be utilized around tokenization initiatives to completely change the way that trade finance works. Again, this is 2023. We're talking about 2 years ago now. The XDC network team says it's set to bridge the $19 trillion trade finance asset class through tokenization. Because again, we're already starting to see a lot of the major obstacles removed to ensure that trade finance gets disrupted by this tech. We have things like the Electronic Trade Documents Bill that got introduced in the UK Parliament back in 2023. That already got fully passed through. Everything is in place for trade finance to be completely disrupted, and XDC is at the forefront of this. XDC has already been trialed and tested around tokenization initiatives for trade finance. And now we're starting to see even more discussions based around this at events like this T3 event, but we're also witnessing XDC continue to be spotlighted as a major project and a major solution for a lot of the issues that plague trade finance. And we're also witnessing major moves happen around the trade finance industry to accommodate for these technologies as well. The future is going to be very bright for a lot of these utility-based projects. That's why when we are still witnessing major sell-offs in the space, I understand how frustrating it can be. I understand how, demotivating it can be as well. But this is a very good time to remind yourselves on why you even invested into some of these projects in the first place. Because those fundamentals are still very true today. That's not changing because price action. We are still in the early phases of one of the largest revolutions to touch all of these asset classes and industries. And these projects like XDC are at the forefront and are core pieces for that revolution to actually happen. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.